Welcome to the world of Deeptech. In this video, we will look at different shades of technology from a commercialization perspective. In my previous videos, I discussed how a technology moves from idea towards revenue and growth through the different stages of its evolution. I have received feedback that this process is very linear and that it is too theoretical. Well, the linearity is an artifact of the representation rather than what happens in reality. In reality, the process is more like this. I have also received feedback that it captures only breakthrough innovations in well-developed ecosystems and is not an appropriate framework for market-driven innovations. In this video, I will try to address these considerations and try to present my own thinking on what constitutes deep tech or advanced technologies. A team that is intent on creating social and economic impact from the technology starts with a burning problem they want to solve. In some cases, technology to solve this problem readily exists. In some other cases, technology or pieces of the technology exist in some other domain and other pieces need to be developed to solve the problem. In the case of really hard problems like sustainable energy or affordable healthcare, the technology to solve them most likely doesn't exist yet. Let's look at each of these scenarios a little more closely. If the technology to solve the burning problem exists, then the appropriate entry point into the idea to market process is at the product market fit stage, where we are targeting the early adopters by developing a solution that delivers clear, demonstrable, and measurable value to the customer. These are so-called market pull solutions, as the technology risk is almost non-existent and the risk of the venture is dominated by other risks such as from the market and product. A recent paper calls it the democratization of technology phase, and technology startups at this end of the spectrum can hardly be considered deep tech. Examples of such companies are Uber and Airbnb. Both are great companies with technology as a key enabler, but hardly deep tech. In the scenario where some pieces of the technology exist or the technology has applications in some other markets or domains, the appropriate entry point into the idea to market process is the proof of value stage. Depending on how much research and development is required, the entry point may even be at the proof of concept stage. The technologies need to be validated for specific applications by targeting innovators in the key markets we identified. This is done through the market identification and technology development prioritization process we discussed in our previous video. In this scenario, the technologies need to be developed and pieced together by adding application-specific knowledge and domain-specific information. Depending on the sophistication of the pieces that need to be developed and depth of additional knowledge that needs to be integrated, startups developing these kind of solutions may be considered deep tech. Companies like Jeeptronics and Sinlair that are part of the first cohort of India Deep Tech Accelerator program are examples of these. If the technology to solve the problem doesn't exist, then the team has to start from basic or applied research and develop the basic science and proof of principle before moving on to the other stages. The technology may also require experimental validation, especially if it can offer 10 times the advantage over current state of the art and belong to the breakthrough or disruptive types of innovations. Startups that are developing and commercializing these kind of solutions do belong to the deep tech end of the spectrum. SpaceX, and BioNTech are examples of these kind of companies. Because they are so far ahead of the current state of the art, they are thought of as technology push type companies. These ventures are characterized by extended negative cash flows while having generally growing valuations as long as there are no setbacks and the team achieves different milestones along the process. Setbacks will result in loopbacks to the previous stages, thereby delaying market entry and reduces valuations considerably. Notice that as they cross major stages of development, there is a discontinuous increase in the valuation of the venture. To summarize, depending on the maturity of the technology to solve the problem, the model can be used to think about both market pull type of ventures and technology push type of ventures by starting at different stages of the process. It can also help us differentiate between deep tech and tech ventures. Thank you. Before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel.